Hi Nadine, you're one
Hi.
of the co-founders of Particula.
Yeah.
So how did you meet the team?
How did we meet? So Tim, I know for a very long time already. So since university times, and he has a different background than I have, and I was really interested in technology, emerging technologies, and sustainability. He has a financial background, and then I don't know, it just came together that we said, hey, maybe we can do something in this space, and he met Wolfram at a university course where they had a project, and then he was telling me about him and how awesome he is, and I was like, okay, let's meet, and then it just worked out, and he was actually our missing piece. Before Wolfram came, it didn't took up until he came.
All right. So Particula is in the sustainability ecosystem, right? So in your words, what is Particula doing?
So in a simple words, Particula is the first data platform rating platform for tokenized real-world assets. Like you already said, we're starting with the sustainability space because there are around 30 asset classes, from tokenized carbon credits to renewable energy certificates, biodiversity, water, and so on. It's crazy how much there's actually out there. And all those solutions are so different, but it's interesting to analyze them and to find out what makes them different and what do they have in common actually. And creating a platform where you can, in their separate asset classes, are able to comparing them, because this is right now not possible. And in the future we are also looking for basically any real world asset which will be on chain.
That's a huge vision, I would say.
Yeah.
So far you are in for 6 to 9 months, something like this, right?
Yeah, we incorporated in January officially.
Yeah, so 6 months and probably a couple of months beforehand planning the incorporation, because this doesn't happen overnight. So in this journey as a founder, what have been your biggest challenges personally?
Biggest challenges. I think the biggest challenge was finding the right CTO, because we have a very technical product, and all three of us, we just had, Wolfram has experience in the software industry, but he's not like a really IT guy, so to say. And Tim and I, we also more have a business side, and we were like, oh, this is so tough. And we were having so many calls and talks with potential CTOs, and nobody really fit our energy. It was more not that they're nice people, but the energy wasn't just not there. And we said, okay, we have to find the right person, because it's kind of like a marriage. When you're choosing the wrong person, you can have the best idea, but it will not work out when the team is not having good energy. And when we found Carsten, he's actually from one of the token issuers we had contact with for months. And he was looking for a new challenge, so to say. And when he asked us if he can join for at first 3 months to testing, and also when you meet someone new to find out how it is. And now it worked out, and I think that was the biggest challenge, and now we are so happy to have him on board.
So would you say this was one of your last biggest successes as well?
I think also it was one of the biggest successes. I think the other one is that we found really great investors. Also from a strategic point of view, of course, money is always great in this early stage, but the strategic point with their network is really helping right now. I think to find those persons who fit us, who are not only providing money, I think this is the second biggest achievement.
I can imagine that one, yes. So talking about your journey and you as a founder, what has been surprising for you as a person in becoming a founder?
That's a good question. Surprising. I think it was really surprising for me. Because I had never founded a company, it's the first time. So of course I had completely different, the reality is definitely different than you imagine. And I always thought, okay, you find the problem and then you create the solution and then you just like build from there. But when we started, we had like a completely different idea, and then it was like a development process, and we always like made it like, you know, and then we were like, yeah, we're focusing on the environmental assets, and then we're like, but why are we just focusing on that? But when we have to create a vision for the investors also, because I said it's too small when we just focus on that. And then it kind of like it's still changing and developing. It's not like the solution is here and then it stays for ever. It's not like that. And this is, I think, the biggest surprise.
Okay, so constant development and change. Why did you not try to do this alone? Why did you decide to join BFG Superstars?
Oh yeah, I always wanted, actually, still when I went to school, I said, okay, one day I want to do my own thing. That's like my biggest dream, actually. Okay. And everybody was always laughing when I said that. Even my family was like laughing about that. They're like, yeah, sure, you do that. And but I always knew that I would not do it alone, because I think it is just too much as one, and I just have one perspective, and I love to have my team. And then but we noticed when we were alone and not with no experience, that it's super hard, and also with no network. And this is like where we think maybe such a program would be like a good start to also avoid mistakes which people are doing, and this is saving time, and it actually does. And you know, BFG opened their network, which is super helpful. We still like have so much advantages because of this, because they do also great events, and we get invited, and then are also many investors who can get an introduction, and then also the strategic part. And yeah, this is really, I would not do it differently. And also Carsten said, actually, because he's a serial founder, our CTO, and he said, guys, I'm so jealous of you guys, because you are so fast because of that. And I had to go all those years like about hell, because I had to do all those mistakes by myself, and it was terrible. And you just had this help.
So would you advise, or would you recommend BFG Superstars to aspiring founders?
Yeah, definitely. I always do. Every time when somebody asks me, who said, hey, I want to do something, I say, hey, think about going in. I mean, if he says, blockchain founder school mature, I always, of course, say, go to blockchain. But even when you're someplace elsewhere, or you find any program, I think, can be a big help. But of course, BFG, since I have the experience, I always recommend that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.